Oregon and Washington are on fire, and 2026 is officially the worst wildfire year for both states since the year 2000. Over 2 million acres have burned across just those two states alone, and a dangerous new wind event is arriving Saturday morning. A major dry cold front confirmed today by NIFC is tracking into the inland northwest with gusts expected to hit 50 miles per hour. 50-mile-per-hour gusts, 10 to 20% humidity near 100-degree temperatures. Firefighters call that combination a worst-case scenario. Here's your wild number for today. Only 3 of the 87 large fires burning nationwide were fully contained in the last 24 hours. 3 out of 87, the fire community is stretched to its absolute limit, and the hardest night of the season may still be ahead. So, let's get right into it. July 31st, 2026, National Fire Crisis Edition, and this is an action-packed forecast today. All right, let's start in the southwest and work our way north through the fire zones of Oregon and Washington State. The NIFC Morning Situation Report released today at 7:30 Mountain Time confirms National Preparedness Level 5, the maximum possible level. Nationwide, 87 large fires are uncontained and burning, with 675 firefighters and support personnel engaged across the country right now. That response includes 566 crews, 599 engines, and 195 helicopters, plus 74 international specialists who flew across the Pacific to help. Year-to-date, 44 Dago 4 fires have burned 4.8 million acres nationally, 133% of the 10-year average for this date. Let's begin in Nevada, where the New Pass fire is burning north of New Pass Peak along the Churchill-Lander County line. As of this morning, the New Pass fire stands at 69 acres with 24% containment, and overnight crews secured the north and west flanks. On the south side, crews are conducting strategic firing operations. That's when firefighters intentionally burn fuels ahead of the main fire under controlled conditions. The concern heading into this weekend is afternoon west to northwest gusts of 20 to 25 miles per hour with poor overnight humidity recovery. Poor overnight humidity recovery means the air stays critically dry even after sunset, giving crews no meaningful window to make overnight progress. The fuels out here are pinyon juniper dents, oily trees that when they fully ignite produce spectacular torching and long-range ember spotting. If you're anywhere near central Nevada this weekend, keep a close eye on local emergency alerts and be ready to move if conditions escalate. All right, let's push north into Oregon, y'all. Oregon right now has 30 large fires actively burning inside a single state. That is more than 1/3 of every large fire burning in the entire country, making Oregon the undisputed epicenter of this national crisis. Starting in the far southeast, the Big Grass Fire sits about 25 miles southwest of Jordan Valley, right along the Oregon-Idaho border. The Big Grass Fire has grown to 303,000 acres, with just 21% containment, bigger than the entire city of Los Angeles. Evacuations, area closures, and road and trail closures remain in effect throughout the Big Grass corridor, with numerous structures and infrastructure threatened. If you're in Jordan Valley, Pleasant Valley, or South Mountain in Owyhee County, Idaho, follow all guidance from the Owyhee County Sheriff's Office. Moving northwest, the Fox Fire, about 12 miles northeast of Huntington, is at 375 acres with 58% containment in eastern Oregon. The Fox Fire forced an I-84 closure for about 70 miles between Baker City and Ontario. That closure is now partially lifted. But if you're running the I-84 corridor this weekend, check current road conditions before you go, because that fire is still very much active. In central Oregon, the Bench Fire 4 miles south of Warm Springs is the most dramatic development in today's NIFC report. Full stop. The Bench Fire grew nearly 20,000 acres overnight, y'all reaching 130 acres total with 32% containment this morning. NIFC reports active fire behavior with short crown runs, group torching, and long-range spotting, with residences and energy infrastructure directly threatened. Crown runs mean the fire jumps from treetop to treetop, while long-range spotting means embers land well ahead of the fire starting new ignitions. The Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs have declared a state of emergency, and evacuations and road closures remain in effect around the Bench Fire tonight. Moving north into Mount Hood National Forest, the Grasshopper Fire sits at 21,576 acres, and here's the number, keeping fire managers up at night. 0% containment on the Grasshopper Fire means crews are still in full offensive mode with no established perimeter around this 21,000-acre blaze. East toward Pendleton, the Hagen Fire on the Umatilla National Forest sits at 33,500 acres with just 3% containment tonight. Energy infrastructure is threatened by the Hagen Fire, and with Saturday's wind event incoming, that thin containment line is extremely vulnerable tonight. Now let's talk Rowe Creek Complex, West Zone. In the Prineville BLM district, this fire has the most direct community impact right now. The Rowe Creek Complex West Zone is at approximately 304,000 acres and 46% containment, with Level 1, 2, and 3 evacuations all simultaneously active. Level 1 means be ready. Level 2 means be set to leave immediately. Level 3 means go now. Do not wait for anyone. Near the Ochoco Reservoir in Prineville, 2 RV parks on Highway 26 are under Level 3 evacuation orders and people need help getting out. Community members need trucks with fifth-wheel hitches to move RVs out of the zone if you're in Prineville with a truck. Check local pages. At 3 p.m. today, a Crook County Sheriff's deputy confirmed no one is blocking access, but this is enter at your own risk inside a Level 3 zone. Overnight crews completed lines along the AY Road, lining the northern edge and catching a 20-acre spot fire before it could escape the perimeter. Today's mission on the West Zone is holding those lines and tightening the perimeter into unburned pockets before red flag conditions arrive this afternoon. Command transfers to Southwest Area Incident Management Team 2 on Sunday, August the 2nd, moving forward. All updates at facebook.com Rowe Creek Complex. Now up to Washington State, where 11 large fires are uncontained, and 2026 is the worst wildfire year for Washington since the year 2000. Kaiser Canyon is the state's largest at 129,678 acres and 29% containment, a Tier 1 priority, getting first call on national resources. NIFC describes Kaiser Canyon with active uphill runs, flanking, and short-range spotting with structures threatened and evacuations currently in effect statewide. A second team from Alaska is mobilizing to join Kaiser Canyon, which tells you exactly how stretched national firefighting resources are right now. In northeastern Washington, 17 miles southwest of Enchelium, the Modoc Fire is at 21,249 acres and 27% containment with extreme fire behavior reported. Washington fires have tracked north all week, but when winds shift west Saturday, they'll push every one of those fires hard to the east. A community watching smoke on the horizon this morning could be under urgent Level 3 evacuation orders within hours once those 50-mile-per-hour gusts arrive. Let's check the rest of the country. Before we get to the big event, there's plenty happening beyond the Pacific Northwest fire zone tonight. In the south, Dallas, Oklahoma City, and Houston are dealing with well above normal temperatures and heat index values, pushing above 105 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. Stay hydrated in those cities. Heat-related illness is a real risk even after dark, when temperatures stay dangerously elevated well into the evening hours. For Southern California, the Southern Great Basin, and the desert Southwest, highs at lower elevations are ranging from 105 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit this weekend. Some desert valleys could locally hit 125 degrees Fahrenheit Phoenix, Las Vegas, Palm Springs. Please be extremely cautious about any outdoor activity tomorrow. 125 degrees Fahrenheit is not a typo heat. That extreme can be fatal within minutes for vulnerable individuals, so do not underestimate this dome. The Four Corners region, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, is seeing monsoon thunderstorm activity, bringing some beneficial rainfall to drought-stressed areas. We're tracking a thunderstorm uptick from the Front Range into eastern New Mexico. Some storms could be strong, so check your local NWS forecast. The Midwest, specifically the Ozark Plateau and lower Mississippi River Valley, will see thunderstorm activity this weekend, with some storms potentially becoming strong. The Northeast is the chill zone right now. New York, Boston, and Philadelphia are at near to below normal temperatures with no major weather concerns this weekend. The tropics remain quiet as of today. One less worry as we head into what is historically the heart of Atlantic hurricane season. All right, but here's where it gets really dangerous, and this is exactly what fire managers across the Pacific Northwest have been watching all week. While the West bakes under a heat dome Saturday, a powerful cold front is simultaneously dropping into the Pacific Northwest from British Columbia. When people hear cold front, they think relief, but this is a dry cold front, and those behave very differently in fire weather situations. The Cascade Mountains will block all moisture from that front from reaching eastern Washington. Zero precipitation east of the Cascades on Saturday. None. Eastern Washington gets gusts of 35 to 50 miles per hour, humidity dropping to 10 to 20%, and temperatures still in the upper 80s. That's on top of ground that hasn't seen meaningful rain in weeks, with vegetation completely cured and primed to burn across the entire region. 3 ingredients: low humidity, strong winds, dry fuels conspiring to create what NOAA's Storm Prediction Center officially calls extremely critical fire weather. The NWS elevated eastern Washington to a PDS Red Flag Warning, particularly dangerous situation, and that designation change matters enormously for this weekend. PD stands for particularly dangerous situation, a designation borrowed from tornado forecasting that signals a threat level well above a standard warning. Here's the interesting thing. The PDS fire weather designation only became available a couple of summers ago. This is its first use in Washington. First time ever used in Washington state. That alone should tell you exactly how seriously the National Weather Service is taking this weekend's setup. One more critical detail, there is no lightning in Saturday's forecast for Washington, meaning every new fire that starts tomorrow will be human-caused. Every spark from a trailer chain, campfire, or off-road vehicle has the potential in these conditions to become a catastrophic fire within just minutes. And those firefighters already battling 87 fires nationwide, every new human-caused ignition tomorrow directly pulls resources off of existing incidents. Let's talk scenarios, because I want to be upfront about what is confirmed, what we're watching, and what the models are telling us today. The wind event itself is confirmed. NIFC's predictive services team and multiple NWS fire weather watches corroborate the same forecast with high confidence. The GFS and Euro models are in strong agreement on timing and intensity. That unusual alignment gives forecasters higher than normal confidence in this event. The question isn't whether 50-mile-per-hour gusts arrive Saturday, they're coming. The question is exactly how these existing fires respond to that wind. In a best-case scenario, firefighters pre-position crews overnight. Today's control lines on Rowe Creek and Kaiser Canyon hold, and evacuations go out early enough. In that best case, we exit Saturday night with fires that are larger but manageable, no communities overrun, and perimeters surviving the wind event intact. In a moderate scenario, Kaiser Canyon at 130,000 acres or Big Grass at 303,000 makes a significant wind-driven run into new territory on Saturday afternoon. In that moderate case, Level 1 and Level 2 communities get upgraded to Level 3 and already stretched resources get pushed even harder than today. In a worst-case scenario, and I'm being real here, 50-mile-per-hour gusts and single-digit humidity can make fire behavior erratic and completely explosive. A fire running under those conditions gives communities very little warning time, which is exactly the setup behind some of the worst western fire disasters. Here's what sets the stage for next week. The extended forecast brings zero meaningful rainfall to Pacific Northwest fire zones for the foreseeable future. Only isolated afternoon mountain thunderstorms are possible next week, and those can actually spark new fires with dry lightning rather than providing any real relief. And IFC confirmed today that above normal wildfire risk will persist through early fall. This is not a situation that resolves in days or even weeks. Temperatures in eastern Oregon and eastern Washington return to near 90 degrees Fahrenheit by Monday and Tuesday after the weekend wind event passes through. Real relief, meaningful rain, and a sustained drop in fire risk likely won't arrive across the Pacific Northwest until late September or October. Let's take a moment on why 2026 has become this bad, because the context matters and the answer lies in what happened this past spring. 8 western states set record low snowpack on April the 1st this year. According to NIFC's predictive services team, a staggering historic departure from normal. Washington's snowpack was completely gone by April 26th, 3 full weeks ahead of normal, meaning wildland fuels dried out significantly ahead of historical schedule. That early snowmelt triggered a fire season that started earlier and hit harder than historical averages, and the region has been burning essentially ever since. Year-to-date, 44 4 fires, 4.8 million acres burned, 128% of average fire count, and 133% of average acreage, all before August 1st. Historically, August brings continued large fire potential across the West, and NIFC fire managers are maintaining full readiness for additional new starts going forward. If you're in the fire regions of Oregon, Washington, Idaho, or Montana, here are 5 direct action items from fire management officials before Saturday arrives. 1, register for your county emergency alert system tonight. Okanogan, Wasco, Harney, and Malheur counties. Please do this right now if you haven't already. 2, know your evacuation zone. Level 1, be ready. Level 2, be set to go immediately. Level 3 means leave right now. No waiting. 3, keep your gas tank full every night in a fire emergency. Stations along evacuation routes can be closed or completely overwhelmed within minutes. 4, prepare a go bag with medications, important documents, water, and 72 hours of supplies. Have it packed and sitting right by the door tonight. 5, if a Level 3 order is issued for your area tomorrow, leave immediately. Emergency personnel cannot guarantee door-to-door notification during a fast-moving event. NIFC asked the public to create no new ignitions this weekend, no campfires unless explicitly permitted, and to watch your trailer chains and exhaust systems. A reminder from officials: firefighters found hikers walking an active fire line on the shoot fire today. That is extraordinarily dangerous for everyone. Forested areas near active fires are closed to all public access. Active fire lines have heavy equipment, falling snags, hot spots, smoke, and rapidly moving fire. Drone flights over active fire areas are illegal 24 hours a day under a temporary flight restriction. Fly a drone, ground the air tankers. This is an active, developing situation, and I will post a Saturday morning update the moment the wind event begins and the fire response unfolds. Turn notifications on now so you get that Saturday update immediately. It could be the most critical weather video of this entire fire season. For every firefighter on the line tonight, the 18,000 in the Northwest alone, and the international crews who crossed the Pacific, thank you. Like and subscribe if this was useful. I'll see you Saturday morning for the update. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other.